Ryan, the floor is yours. And again, thank you and welcome.
Awesome. Much appreciated, Amir. And one icebreaker that I usually like, and as I'm sharing my screen, I usually do something called this or that. So if you rather something, say two things. I always like to find out if people rather oxtail or curry goat for dinner. So please type into the chat which dinner you prefer. And if you've never had oxtail or curry goat, I apologize. Your parents have neglected you. We will schedule a lunch and learn. So we will feed you some oxtail. Actually, I've seen, is curry goat taking veggie? Okay, yes. Veggies there. I'm seeing oxtail taking the lead.
Veggie chunks. Oxtail hands down. Curry goat, right. Oxtail. All these Caribbean people.
Love it. As mentioned, my name is Ryan Knight. I'm here representing EmpoweredForX and the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. And really quickly, I consider myself a social entrepreneur. We've run a few businesses and currently the co-founder of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. And I'm also in a physical co-working space called EmpoweredForX. So we work with entrepreneurs in our community really to become their project teams. So if I'm going through all of these available funding and you feel like it's overwhelming and you just need somebody to help you write the grants, we do offer that service. And I always like to just flash our valued partners, ranging from Alterna Savings all the way down to the Toronto Community Benefits Network, people that we work with and have also supported us along the way. And really quickly about ACBN, we've been around for about 4 years. Really, I saw a gap and I figured as an entrepreneur, I wanted to scale. So we created the ACBN. And to date, we have about 4,400 Black entrepreneurs in our database. But what I'm most proud of is actually our partnerships with other organizations. So including Delta, where we can now add our, I'll say, business resources to whatever other organizations are doing. And we've extended our reach to now over 30,000 Black entrepreneurs across Canada. And real quick, of course, I'm a lover of entrepreneurship. I believe that's the great equalizer that allows us true economic inclusion. Convening like this is really important, but why we are here is this whole access to funding piece. And I usually like to show a bit of our track record. We raise funds in different realms, whether it's pitch competitions, such as like Ignite Capital, whether it's municipal and city grants, like the City of Brampton, whether it's provincial with grants through the Ontario Trillium Foundation and the Youth Opportunities Fund, all the way up to federal, where the Supporting Black Communities Initiative and also the Federal Black Entrepreneurship Ecosystem Fund, which we were able to get 1.3 million, but we've gotten as low as $500 grants all the way up to $1 million grants. But what I most enjoy is actually being able to help other organizations get grants. And a quick story around Rescue Youth International. We've worked with Abigail, and initially she wasn't getting the grants that she really deserved because she does great work with the youth in the education and the justice system. So we were able to partner with her, find a grant called the Investment Readiness Program, which allows you to create a social enterprise that can now support the nonprofit. So we actually developed the grant and actually launched the food truck. I'm not sure if you heard of Rescue Youth, GC Jerk Express. But now going into this new season, it's going to be generating profits that would allow the nonprofit to generate income. So some of my workshops, we go through like the full grant writing blueprint. We won't be able to today, but we really create a blueprint with all the information about your organization. It needs to be stored somewhere because every grant that you do, you'll see a lot of grants are similar. So if you capture it all in a blueprint, it allows you to write grants a lot quicker because you're able to really have about 80% of the answers already finished, and then you can custom tailor it to whatever grant that you're working on. And a quick cheat sheet, if you go to the Business Benefits Finder, this helps you find federal grants. So this spreadsheet or this slide deck will be shared with everybody, so all these links will be available to you. But today I wanted to dig deeper into the current grants that are available. And actually, let me jump out so I can go to some of these websites. And I did want to start with Investment Readiness Program, because I mentioned it when I talk about Rescue Youth International. Even as a nonprofit or for-profit, we should be thinking about how to operate as a social enterprise. So what being a social enterprise does is if you're a nonprofit, it allows you to create income generating activities that then now you can get grants for, and it helps you create this income that pays and helps you it allows your nonprofit to become more sustainable. So here at ACBN, we run a couple social enterprises, such as our marketing agency, which generates income so that even if our grants and, let's say, donations dry up, we have our own funding that we're able to keep the doors open. So I always push and encourage social enterprise, and even from the for-profit side, where it's not all about just profits and making as much money as possible and generating shareholder value and wealth, you also have to look at your positive impact in the community. So for-profits, we try to encourage them to operate as social enterprises as well. And you'll see down here, if you're new to the social enterprise space, you'll know that social finance, there's a social finance fund that was created by the federal government of $800 million. They carved out $50 million to help nonprofits and social enterprises get investment ready. So this link that's in the slide deck, please sign up on this website so that once it reopens, you're going to be one of the first to know. Of course, we try to let people know as soon as possible as well, but this gets you on their newsletter, and that should be opening, I would say, within a month or so. And you're able to get between $10,000 all the way up to $100,000 for your social enterprise. And even if you don't have a social enterprise just yet, they do allow you to develop your concept. So use this money to really start thinking about it, and then use the social enterprise to keep your nonprofit sustainable. For the businesses that are in the room, there's a grant that's in partnership with the Black Opportunity Fund and also the CIBC. They created a Black Entrepreneurship Program. They also have, so really quickly about this one, for businesses that are looking for funding, CIBC has a loan program that gets you up to $250,000. But if you're not ready for the loan program, you're able to get a $2,000 grant and business supports. So you'll see all of these business support. So again, if you're starting a social enterprise, you're able to get support with your business plan, support with your credit, support if you're running a food business, and each milestone that you hit, you're able to get grants for it. And then when you're ready, you can plug into CIBC's bigger $250,000 loan program. But I did want to, the Black Opportunity Fund also has, let me minimize this. There's a program for health and, so grants for education and health-focused initiatives. So if this is you, this grant is actually due, I believe it's either March 31st or yes. So March 31st at the end of the day. So definitely tap into this one. If you're in that industry, you can get a minimum of $5,000 all the way up to $25,000. And I believe it's over 2 years, it says here, yes. So I'll make sure that this link is also in the slide deck so that you'd be able to go to this one because it's due pretty soon. Actually, since it's due so soon, we might do a working group about it next week. So if you're having trouble with the finishing your application, we'll try to support you in that way. All right. Another grant for those youth that you work with that are currently in school, they should really be tapping into Summer Company. They're able to get $3,000 to start their businesses in the summer. So during the summer break, they're able to get this grant to start their business ideas. They get coaching from some of the entrepreneur centers. And so if you're in Brampton, the Brampton Entrepreneur Center would support the youth with running their business throughout the summer, and they get a grant so that they can hit the ground running during their break. I see a lot of Black youth missing this grant, and this is something that I tapped into way back in 2012. So it's been around for a while. If you're in school, you shouldn't miss this opportunity to really start a business and get government funding to support it. All right, now, this grant is one of my favorite ones, and it works for for-profit companies and also nonprofit. So if there are business services that you need to get done, and that could be business planning, strategic planning, I'll actually scroll down to show you the full list of things that you can get done. the BBPA, which is the Black Business and Professionals Association, created the BAIDS program so that instead of you having to come out of pocket to pay for different services that you need, they would actually pair you up with a service provider and then they pay the invoice for you. So if you need help with marketing and outreach, and not just to create the strategy, but to also create the execution of it, you're able to get paired with a service provider, which could be a marketing agency or an individual that does marketing, and they invoice the BBPA directly. So you get all the services done, and then they handle the cost for you. So there's no out-of-pocket cost for the organization or the business owner. And you'll see there's many different services that you can get support with. And the link to apply should be here. So, right. And it's a pretty straightforward application. So definitely, again, I usually give, when I'm doing these presentations, we usually stop and open up this link, make sure that people fill it out. It literally takes less than 5 minutes, just so that you get into the queue and you don't miss it. But this is one to definitely take a look at. And because it's for nonprofits, usually business associations don't do grants for nonprofits, but you definitely want to take advantage of this. Even for a nonprofit that wants to start auditing their books, this is able to support you.
Question in the chat. Do you want to take it now or after the presentation?
Yeah, fire away.
So one person asked if you have any grants for non-status individuals who aren't able to support themselves with their immigration status.
Sorry, so if they're not able to support themselves,
their immigration status.
I haven't seen specifically to immigration status. I've seen loan programs where if you're an immigrant and you needed to like redo your certification or get specific training to allow you to work in Canada. I know, oh my gosh, Windmill is one organization that does that support, and also Access Community Capital Fund, but those are microloans. I haven't seen specific grants that help with immigration status.
And there was another question about grants specifically focusing on Black youth organization, so,
right,
which you've been speaking about. So,
yeah, and I'll queue it up just so I don't forget. The Ontario Grant Portal, you'll see. Actually, I'll come back to it since the question was asked. I can show this right away. So this grant portal, I always love to dig into because there's so many different grants that are available in Ontario that I find we're just completely missing. So one that is specific to Black youth is the Ontario Black Youth Action Plan. So this link is again in the spreadsheet or in the slide deck. So you'd be able to check it out, but you'll see the deadlines are coming up. So there's 3 different, oh, this one passed. So they had a career launch stream and that deadline did pass, but they have the career advanced stream. So that application is coming up due soon, April 6th. And then they have the sector innovation networks, and that's coming due April 20th. So this one's specific for Black youth. If that interests you, please don't miss it, and it'll explain it in this link.
Let's synchronize over. Let's
Gail, I love the tunes.
Not from me. I'm just trying to figure out who was that.
No problem. So yeah, this portal, don't sleep on this portal because it does take a bit of navigation. You have to create like an Ontario One key, and you have to log in, and you apply through their portal. But there's a lot of opportunity. Again, I always say we should lean into complexity. And although they make it complex, we can figure it out so that we can unlock this funding for you. And the last one that I'll just touch on, and this one again is for business owners. So the Digital Main Street created 2 new programs. One is called the Canada Digital Adoption Program, and the other one is called RAISE, which is Racialized and Indigenous Service Support for Entrepreneurs. The CDAP, which is the Canada Digital Adoption Program, you can get up to $2,400 to help with your marketing, and RAISE, you're able to get up to $10,000 to support with creating an e-commerce store and doing digital marketing. So we are actually going to be doing a working group about this later today. So I'll actually send the recording for Amir and Kemi just so if you missed the recording, because it's at 1 o'clock, so I apologize. I know you're in this one. I'll definitely get the recording to you, because I don't think, try not to miss these 2 grants. They only allotted about $5 million towards the program. So that's about 500 grants. And we want to get in the queue. So I wanted to see, yeah, the Ontario Trillium Foundation, that one's pretty standard. And again, pretty complex. They do lean heavily on collaboration. So if you're a for-profit company and you typically never applied for Ontario Trillium Foundation, it would be good to find a nonprofit that matches your mission, because that was the way that I was able to navigate the Youth Opportunities Fund with our company Detailing Nights, by finding a nonprofit organization to work with. And again, for a nonprofit, if you've been having trouble actually getting funding from Ontario Trillium Foundation, it might be good to also find other nonprofits or even for-profit companies that you can align with and collaborate with. We're seeing a lot more of the applications that have collaboration in it getting successful rather than solo applications. So something to keep in mind. All right. So this is a page of different loans that are available. So probably not going to go too deep into this one, but just wanted to let you know that it is in the slide deck. So if you ever want to, if you are running a business and you need access to loans, this is here. And just a quick overview of our microloan. So ACBN, we created a microloan to support businesses with loans between $500 up to $25,000. The rate is below market rate. It's about 3.9 right now, and you can pay it back over 5 years. So if you're running a business and you need access to, I would say, quicker money, I know the banks tend to take their time, but our process usually is done within 2 weeks or less than a month at the max. So that's an option for you. And as I'm wrapping up, I always like to make sure that you know we exist to see the community win. We're helping entrepreneurs and also executive directors of organizations. Please feel free to reach out to us. I'm really excited to be able to work with you, share what I know, and as best we can help you actually get these applications in so that we don't miss it just because we didn't apply. And I always say there's a lot of money flowing, but we need to position ourselves in front of that flow of money. And I believe we can do it. So thank you so much. My contact info is here, but I'll also put it into the chat so that you have it.